Hello, mis cielitos, and welcome back. Coco is here, and I will be continuing Raging Loop. Last we left off, we had finally managed to get back into the village. We met a couple of the people we had before, we found a place to stay, thanks to Rikako. And since we were sent here as someone who's going to be becoming part of the community, hopefully that means that we'll be able to participate in the feast this time. Now I had to get one for Mamiya-san and Hashimoto-san. I tried to think of a way to encourage them to leave before the mist came, but all the things I could think of seemed unnatural. That meant my only option was the opposite, convincing them there was no way to leave, so they'd have to stay. Honestly, I did consider just letting them die. As long as I survived, I didn't really care if they did. But that didn't sit right with me. I wasn't a good guy, but not doing whatever I could right now seemed careless. My ultimate goal was to escape the loops, but at the moment, all I could really do was prevent the tragedy before me. I'd think of something else if it just didn't work out, but for now, I had no reason to abandon my humanity. That was why I returned to the plaza. It was still really empty, and the two journalists were probably working. This was my chance. I approached the left back wheel on Hashimoto-shi's van. Reaching into my bag, I pulled out the hammer and nails I'd bought. I placed the tip of a nail against the tire and hammered it in. You could hear the sound of the air leaving. That had to be good enough. I then did the same with the other rear tire, as well as one of the front ones. I hope you aren't caught doing that. There. After that, I added a random array of extra nails around those to make it look like a trap or something had been run over in the grass. They couldn't leave now. I already knew they didn't have anything that could fix tires, and they couldn't get in touch with any road service until after the mists passed. If someone from Kami Fujiyoshi came to pick them up, and they left without their car, that would have been fine too. Not that I expected anyone to come. Now, I just had to convince them that they had to stay here. Ugh, it really was a haphazard plan. It seemed like the locals trapped them on purpose. It seemed like the locals trapped them on purpose. I'd have to think of something to say about that. Anyway, I did what I could for them. Now I just had to wait and... Usaishi-sama. Whoa, whoa, whoa! My heart almost burst out of my chest! What's the matter, Rikako-san? That name again? I'm sorry. What's wrong, Uematsu-san? I'm hungry, so I came to eat. That, huh? Well, I was pretty hungry myself, too. Wait, there was something more important to worry about. Had she seen me? This is a large car. It is? What the hell was up with this pressure? Was it some Kami Fujiyoshi head superpower? Was she waiting for me to confess or something? I had no choice but to think up a new lie. Looking at her red eyes made me feel like she'd see through any bullshit I spun. Crap. Maybe I should just come clean and... I am hungry. Was she actually not thinking anything? What do you think I was doing here? Searching for wood lice. Did she think I was as old as Mako? No. Look here. It's flat. Oh dear. See? It's got this inside. So long and thick. And look how deep this is. I don't like this dialogue. And again...
Hey! The brown-haired man is taking Uematsu-sama in broad daylight!
Man, what the hell was with her appearances this time around? Okay, yeah, I couldn't lie. This conversation was pretty messed up. That's an outrageous misunderstanding! I'll go call for the journalists! What? You've gotta be kidding me! Hisako-san was completely perplexed. Now, this is troubling. I still couldn't read his expression, but I could totally sympathize with someone being basically stranded in a place like this. How unfortunate. They weren't suspicious of me, so I just acted like an innocent, sympathetic bystander. Oh, the heartache. We were supposed to head back tonight. What are we going to do? Do you have any plans? I'm fine, but what about you? My daughter's birthday is close.
Oh, Nami-chan.
Oh, the heartache! I had no idea he had a daughter. I was married for that matter. The fact that it came as a surprise just made my pain worse. But I shouldn't feel guilty about this. If I just ignored them, they'd have been torn apart by a monster. Oh my. What should we do? Yasumizu has no cars in the first place. Nosato-sama might have something useful. Those words made me twitch. Those tires are special, so that would be difficult. We do have a single spare, but... Let's contact road service, Oribe-san. May we use the phone? Yes, of course. Right this way. They all returned to the dining hall.
I have a bad feeling about this.
I was left alone with a peculiar duo, but then we were joined by a muscly silhouette who'd come from the fields. What are you doing, Oba-chan, Oimatsu, and... who are you? This is Haruaki, Usaishi-sama. She went out of her way to introduce me, though she still couldn't leave off the sama. I'm moving here. I hope we get along. Oh, you're the guy, huh? I'm Takumi Muro. A pleasure. You don't look like you're from Kami Fujiyoshi. An outsider, then. That's rare. Sorry you ended up here. They really had to do something about their habit of showing sympathy for anyone who came here. I mean, it's a little different since now you're technically part of the community. But before, when you were just completely an outsider, they didn't really show you much sympathy. Yes, I came here from the city. Sorry I'm so suspicious and flashy. I'll re-dye my hair. Alright.
That'd be good.
Well, she hates that sort of thing. I don't really care, though. I care more about something else. As in? If you're useful in the field, unlike Kami Fujiyoshi, Yasumizu doesn't abandon its people. But we don't have room for those who don't earn their keep. While mentioning Kami Fujiyoshi, he glanced at Uematsu-san. Well, you look like you have the build for it. You can start by mowing the grass around the upper fields. But I was told to work at the dining hall. What? You're working with Kaori-san! Crap, I messed up!
Takumi, you're a fine man. Just tell her how you feel.
What do you mean? I'm not thinking anything that outrageous. But she supports 2 grown sons and feeds everyone with her frail arms. I'm gonna kill any guy that tries to take advantage of her. That was plenty outrageous. Hey, what did you do to get her to take you? Spill it. It took a lot of effort to keep myself from lying and fueling the fire. Oh, Higuchi-san from Kami Fujiyoshi, right? He sent me to work with her. Takumishi became apathetic. Oh, I guess that's fine then. I'll try to become able to work outside too. That's great and all, but for now, just watch. If we made you do too much, they might get on our cases about it. Huh? They care about what kind of work people do here? They don't. They just want to be sure we listen to them. So what are you all up to? Where's Kaori-san?
The journalist's car broke, so she wants to make a call.
Huh. That's pretty bad. Can they leave? It's best to assume they won't have it fixed today.
Awful.
This was getting nowhere. Do you have any open rooms? That house was the only one I could give.
Uematsu-sama, you gave Gen-san's house to him?
Yes. Houses die if people do not live in them.
Take care of that house, will ya? A good person used to live there.
Of course.
Don't you dare use it as a place where you take advantage of Uematsu-sama. It cannot happen to her, understand?
What? You two are like that? Ugh. It's a complete misunderstanding, but it seems to keep her being taken as fact. Keep being taken as fact. I'd appreciate it if it wasn't. We went off on a tangent. What do we do? I'd have liked it if I, the newbie, didn't have to be the one making this conversation progress. I really don't think it's a good if outsiders stay in Yasumizu. Neither side like it. Ba-chan, you got any free houses? I mean, I would assume she would, since she was supposed to be the one who took us to a house to begin with.
The one I gave Meiko-chan was the last one. The rest had holes or didn't have walls. You can't even shelter in those.
Liar! There was a room in the dorm! Oh. You sure slept for long. Go help out the old man.
Oh, sorry. I got in the habit of sleeping in while I was away. By the way, Taiba-chan, there's one free room in the dorm. Ii-chan, you know the place was built by Yoshimitsu-san. He worked hard negotiating with the 4 families to get it built. He said he wanted for at least the children here to live in nice places closer to Kami Fujiyoshi. That's why he had the concrete stairs built on the hill and...
She started talking about the past again. Well, Fusaishi, you see what kind of place Yasumizu is. I already knew. Anyway, I hope they can fix the car. This was bad. Just as expected, the road service would take a long time to get here. They'd be here sometime in the middle of the night if they tried to come right away. The mountain road was even more dangerous at night, so they agreed on the service coming in the early morning, which led us back to the talks about where they'd stay. I mean, there's the room in the dorm, which I hope they will, give in and give it to one of them. But if only one person can be in a room at a time. There was the porta potty that worked for us, that we don't know if we're just special. And that's why it worked for us, but I mean, I'd say it's worth a try at least. But even if that was the case, that mean that someone would have to stay there every night. I wonder if the... So we know that Yudai got killed when he was in the car, but I think they described saying that he was in the front seat. And they did say that they have sort of like an attachment to the truck where all their equipment is kept. So maybe since that doesn't have windows, maybe that might work. And we'll see. Unfortunate thing about that is you only will get one chance to find out. Or at least they do. The mountain road was even more dangerous at night, so they agreed on the service coming in the early morning, which led us back to the talks about where they'd stay. And by the time that discussion was over, Yamamaki-san, who was done talking, had left. He really gave us outsiders the cold shoulder, huh? Takumi-san tried suggesting they stay in their van, and I was surprised to hear they were receptive to the idea. Them being a man and a woman was one thing, but I was more concerned if that van had enough space for someone that huge and another person to lie down. Still, it looked like they were about to agree to just leave it at that, but that was no good. They wouldn't survive the night like that. So far, the only people I hadn't met were the students who were in school, Kanzo Makishima-san, who was out hunting since morning, and the old man who cried wolf. Since I'd met just about everyone, I chose to take my leave. It wouldn't have been natural if I tried to talk them out of that. I had to get places for them, but my only option was one I didn't have much faith in. Anyway, doorbell. Oh, you're the new one. What do you want? There's a problem that I think only a village head can solve. Well, I don't mind the sentiment. You can knock off the awkward flattery. Why not act more like yourself? Was my politeness that insincere? I'm sorry. Now, about what I came here for. Is it true that the mists are coming soon? The effect my words had on Kyonosuke-shi was impressive. He tried to act calm, but his wandering eyes made it clear he wasn't. What? Who told you about that? Who mentioned that superstition to you right when you just got here? Uematsu-san. He fell silent. The guy was easy to read. Someone told me about the mists themselves, though. The one who sent me here was Shoji Higuchi-san. Oh, Shoji? He's 1 year younger than me. What did he say? I might have misheard it, but he said that there might be mists soon. There was no truth to my words, but they would become true when the mist came. But Uematsu-san said there's something that must be done if the mists come. There are people who are stuck here because their van had flat tires. I'm wondering what they should do. Oh, that's news to me. How troublesome. it is. What do you think? Early summer mists here in Yasumizu happen only every decade or two. Decade or two? Well, it wouldn't be impossible for them to appear now. But I don't think I saw signs of it happening anytime soon. I see. By the way, what's so dangerous about it? Everyone seems so tense. When the mists come to Yasumizu, someone always dies. Was that an okay thing to say? Oh, don't misunderstand. The mists you get here are far more dense than any you know. I hear they make you as good as blind. I knew that. But yeah, I couldn't have imagined mists that dense unless I saw them for myself. That's why the people here were taught to stay indoors whenever that happened. But you have fools who still go outside and fall to their deaths or something. I see. Do you see the destroyed construction site not far from here? That was a project run by my family, but it ended when the mist led to on-site deaths. Seriously, they could have pulled out sooner, but the overseer was too strict. I felt stupid for even considering crazy theories about Saranaga illness. That mist was dangerous in of itself, and that made for a good official reason to stay indoors when it came. He seemed to believe the official reason and thought it wouldn't kill him. If he actually knew about the true dangers lurking in the mist, he'd do everything he could to leave Yasumizu. He was from a head of family, but he didn't seem to know all the secrets. She, on the other hand, must have known something. I'd love to find out more, but... Hold on, he just told me something weird. The mist led to on-site deaths. Did you see the aftermath of the landslide uphill? It's been like that ever since the Nosato got to work on the place 8 years ago and it collapsed. They were too freaked out to even clean it up. I ended up digging out the workers' corpses and burying them. I was told that Takumi-san buried the bodies. But if it happened in the mist during a feast of the Yomi Purge, didn't that mean he should have been present during the feast? From what I could tell, last time the mist scared the people here and drove them to panic. Hanzo Makishimashi hadn't reacted like that. While the old wolf guy had said the wolves were coming, it was likely they'd experienced the feast before. But I didn't know what had happened to the other people, or what I'd even do with that information. One thing I could say was that the survivors either killed or silently approved of killing people. Chiemi could be one of them. And so could the students. Even if I couldn't connect all of the dots, it was entirely possible. I had to keep myself together. I had many things to think about later, but for now I had a goal to complete. And yet the people at the main house... Say, Nosato-san. You said that construction site is yours, right? Right, what of it? Is that prefab usable? Or what? I just thought that it'd be a better place for the troubled outsiders to stay at. After thinking for a moment, Inosuke returned inside. I'd expected him to say something like, "Why would I, a village head, sully my hands with Yasumizu's problems?" or something, so this came as a surprise. Kinosuke came back shortly. "This should be it. The previous head of the family brought it here after the incident, and just as I'd expected, it was in the key box. Thank you very much. Wait, I didn't say I'd give it to you. In fact, why should I, a village head, soil my hands with Yasumizu's problems? What? And there it was. You have a point. I'm sorry. I'm joking. I didn't say I wouldn't give it either. Whoa, what a pain in the ass. Unlike Muda or Serisawa, you seem to know how to behave around the heads. Yasumizu inhabitant or not, I value such people. We village heads are responsible for maintaining order in Fujiyoshi. Thank you very much. Oh, so he believed in the concept of noblesse oblige. Noblesse oblige. Shame he didn't have the ability for it. First, I had to check if the place was even usable. The equipment and materials were all gone. The only thing of note here was the sink on the wall. The flooring was cold and a bit sandy, but with a bit of cleaning and a futon, it could be a decent living place. There was no running water, but if we placed a water bucket here, whoever was living here could easily wash themselves. Oh. Ah. Huh. Well, since that's locked off for now, I feel like that's insinuating that even if we do open this up for them, whoever stays in this place is gonna die. Because there's probably something more that we have to do to prep this place to be usable. So, return to the dining hall. I now had one empty living space. Getting the other, the dorm room, was even harder. I didn't even think I could force it at this stage. However, it was still a better option than just wandering around looking for alternatives that may not even exist. This'd be a real waste of time if it didn't end up saving them. I wasn't about to stop trying, though. It was still just a bit after noon. Honestly, I was a bit hungry. But there was a strange, powerful reek coming from the dining hall. I had no idea what could have caused this. Was it a toilet? No. It was more along the lines of rot. Animal rot at that. Did someone already die? My memories made me forget the situation was still peaceful and I dashed. Suddenly, a dense wall rose up before me. What? I was pushed away. I spaced out for a moment, but then I realized I'd bumped into the local hunter, Hanzo Makishimashi. You're the one, eh? This was the first time I'd seen him hold his gun in his hands. But I was even more troubled by his face. I was pretty sure I'd seen Old Lady Tai wear something similar the first time. All that happened later made me forget about it, but man, was it weird. Sorry, there was a weird smell, so I was wondering if everything's okay. It's Shishinare. Huh? That's Shishinare boiling. They're feeding the journalists. Oh yeah, Hisako-san was here to eat something strange. Be careful, boy. Alright. May I have your name? Makishima. And he left. The bundle he had in his left hand told me he'd only been here to get his lunch. He was as tough as I remembered. That chest made it hard to believe how old he was. What a hunk of a man. Really? Alright. That thought made me seem like some love-struck teen girl. Anyway, that cleared things up. The smell was caused by cooking. I gathered my resolve and went inside. Oh, where were you? I had things for you to do. Kaori-san glared at me a bit. Crap, I'd have to make up for the points I'd lost. I'm sorry. I had business with Nosato-san. Business with him? Did Higuchi tell you to give him a message? No. Mamiya-san. Hashimoto-san. Can I have a moment? Besides the ones in charge here and that sleepyhead, you also had the journalists who were busy taking photos and jotting down notes. I was impressed by their professionalism, being able to get back to work right after the problem was solved, although it actually wasn't. Sorry to bother you while you're working. Nosato-san said it's not good to spend a night in the van and gave me the key to the prefab. Oh. What? The blog? Nosato-san said that. Well, it was nice to find out how she usually called him. Apparently there's one more room too, so why don't you ask if they can open that so you can spend the night under a roof? I appreciate the sentiment, but I don't want to force anyone to give me a room. Of course she didn't. That was the normal thing to think. Kaori-san, we really should open the dorm. Losing to Nosato-san would bring shame to Yasumizu. I won't say anything about that, but... yes, even if there aren't any bad people here, I don't feel good about letting a young lady sleep in a car.
Kaori-san, can we have lunch?
And the most important person around joined the scene.
What?
Nosato-san gave me a key. It's for the prefab, but still. Now one of them can rest with a roof over their heads.
Oh, that's...
I wasn't explicit about it, but she instantly understood what I was getting at.
But that place is...
I don't mind having a new neighbor. By the way, what kind of place is the dorm anyway? That is the place for the children who will soon leave Yasumizu. To live in Yasumizu means to be a part of Yasumizu for the rest of your life. But that doesn't apply to the children. That makes it the only special place here, and the people of Kami Fujiyoshi silently agree. Oh. So this was just another way Kami Fujiyoshi exerted power over Yasumizu. I could understand why they didn't want to mess with it. But I knew from experience that it wasn't an insurmountable obstacle. They'd open it up for an emergency, but tomorrow would be too late. And I didn't really have a good way to convince them that this was, indeed, an emergency. It's fine. I'm used to sleeping in a car. You can use the prefab, Hashimoto-san. The car is more than enough for just me. Not to mention, you're the one doing all the driving. Shouldn't it be the other way around? We're talking about the prefab uphill, aren't we? I'm not sure I want to let a woman sleep there. As we pondered... Excuse me. Hashimoto-san actually spoke up and walked up to Taya-san.
Can I help you?
If you have a proper room, could you please open it up for her? She's a tough lady who can handle work in this field, but she is still unmarried. As her partner, I don't want her to do anything she shouldn't have to. I will thank you in whatever way I can, so please. He bowed. His large body bent in two, but Tai-san still had to look up at him.
I understand, but...
Whoa, Tai-san was on the verge of giving in. Hey, Fusaishi! You came back, huh? Why were you out when Kaori-san was making food? You got some nerve leaving when she needed your help.
Oh, Takumi-chan, perfect timing.
Huh? What? Perfect timing indeed. He was the best person to convince Tai-san. And in the end, she agreed. Yay! Here's hoping. Okay. So this... We know the dorm is definitely an okay place, so it seems like she'll be okay, but I'm worried about Yudai. And in the end, she agreed. The word unmarried meant a lot to her, apparently. She seemed to become more considerate of Mamiya-san after that. One of the reasons for this victory was the pressure emitted by Hashimoto-san's massive presence, and the other was the fact he presented a reason that resonated with her. And then Takumi-san joined the scene and gave her the final push. This wasn't exclusive to Yasumizu, but finding a compromise in a community without common interests was really difficult. It was especially hard when you couldn't give proper reasons for your words. They started to suspect I was a slacker, but I said that I was called by Nasoto-san, and though it surprised them, they believed me. As a result, I had to make up a story about how he was shy but actually considerate of everyone, which is why he called me. After all, I couldn't let them think I decided this by myself. After we got the key from Tai-san, the two journalists and I left the dining hall to prepare our living spaces. The dorm room was clean to begin with. There was gas, water, a futon, exactly like I remembered it. The house I'd be staying at was clean too. All I had to do was get a futon from dining hall and fill the pail with water. The prefab, though, took a while to clean. Takumi-san brought the cleaner pieces of tatami from the abandoned shacks here, which made it a relatively livable space. Well, if we're staying here, we might as well experience the local daily life. Shame I won't be able to make an article out of it. They seem to be satisfied with that reason. I hope we can work in a safer place next time. Sorry. Most of my gigs are like this, aren't they? Oh, but this is better for me. I have insurance, and it's far safer than a war zone. He'd been in such places? Huh. He did more legwork than his looks would have you believe. But you are a woman, Kyu-chan. I keep telling you not to mention that. There are no genders while we're working. Sadly, dangerous places are riskier for women than men. Well, you know, I can't get any better jobs or a man. It's rough, huh? The relationship was just that of good business partners. Mamiya-san was a passionate journalist, while Hashimoto-san was a senior who was worried about her and helped her out. There was a decent balance here. Yeah, I find their relationship really sweet. That's unexpected. You're good looking, so I figured you'd be more popular. Flattery won't get you anywhere. Oh, believe me, if I was less pathetic, I'd have gone for you without hesitation. What an honor. How old are you, by the way? 24. And I'm about to enter my 30s. I'd feel really bad. Oh, come on. Unmarried 30-year-olds weren't rare in this day and age. Though I preferred women who were a bit more bothersome. What's this tub? Ah, that's to clean your body. But we'll only be here for a day. I was told it's a custom here. Hmm? Can you tell us more? Alright. This was a good chance to share info with them. Presenting it as info I heard from Uematsu-san and Kyonosuke-shi, I told them about what had to be done when the mist came. I couldn't sound too knowledgeable, though, since I was a newbie here, but I was able to imply that there was a supernatural danger involved. Mamiya-san was extremely intrigued, and quickly asked for extra info, like the stuff about the four-head families. I did my best to mention only what I found out this time around, but I couldn't help worrying that I'd said too much. That I would say too much. Interesting. That's so Shinto-like, though. I wonder how it was passed on. Strange Torii, family with guardians to their names, accustomed to cleanse only when the mists come. They don't seem too hospitable to guests, though. What a mystery. How did such a unique custom survive in such a remote farming village? Was it even more peculiar back in the day? It really does look like this is your calling, Kyu-chan. Oh, apologies. Anyway, we have places to sleep in, and know what to do if the mists come. Let's get back to work. You're satisfied with the dorm, right? And now use this place. And if you want, you can use a cabin downhill. This prefab is pretty cramped. Don't worry, I can sleep anywhere. And you're going to live here, aren't you? You should get used to your new home as quickly as possible. You had a point. Also, I'd borrowed the place from Uematsu-san. I didn't have the right to let just anyone use it. Ah. Interesting. So we could probably insist that we do switch. Agree with Hashimoto. But yeah, that just makes me even more convinced that poor Hashimoto is going to be killed. Alright. Sorry about that. Don't be. We should be thanking you. You did a lot for us, didn't you? Huh? That Nosato person didn't seem like the considerate type, so I can only guess that you got him to help. You're giving me too much credit. This girl tends to push herself too hard. Thank you for caring for her where I couldn't. Hey, you're only a dozen years older than me. Don't act like my dad. Oh, that's really sweet. There was something about him that bothered me. What? 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 No, that made me worried. What? Jesus. Anyway, with that done, I figured I'd spend my remaining time trying to rub elbows with the rest of Yasumizu. Though I'd already had a job here, I had to make up for not helping out at the dining hall before noon. But... you can't work on an empty stomach. Kaori-san gave me a bowl. For some reason, her smile seemed a bit warped. It probably wasn't on purpose, though. It was just the effect of the smell. No. The miasma coming from the food she gave me. It was just that powerful. Are you upset about something? Huh? No, why would you think that? I couldn't feel any anger in her voice or expression. But being new here, I couldn't understand the mentality of someone trying to present something like this as food. As I twitched in fear that this was punishment for slacking off, Kaori suddenly gave me a full smile. Oh, it's the smell, isn't it? This is Shishinare. It's like this because of a traditional technique to keep game meat fresh. I see. So this was the infamous dish made of fermented game meat. The nare part of the name had to refer to long fermentation, just like in narezushi for fermented sushi. I had no clue how they gave it such a strong smell, though. But did they reuse the same marinade for decades? Like with the salt they used for sun-dried mackerel? They used to eat it raw before, but they eventually found out it's dangerous. Now we boil it or use it in stews or soups. It used to be a celebrated dish here. This is what's left from what I made for the journalist. Please consider it my way of welcoming you. Okay. Whew. I had to steel myself. I actually had a soft spot for strange delicacies. I'd tried sun-dried mackerel and any other weird foods I could get my hands on. No way could I refuse this. I mean, I've been eating Yasumizu's food since I was a little girl. Would eating this turn me into a zombie or something? No. I would prove that idea wrong. Thank you. I pick up the bowl and the chopsticks. Brown rice covered in a ton of crumbled bits of meat. The soup stock seemed as light as what they used in Kami Fujioshi, but I didn't know what to think of the meat's color. What was up with this greasy, shiny green surface? The reek attacked my nose once again. Damn it, I couldn't back out now. Gathering my resolve, I quickly put some stock, rice, and meat into my mouth. What? Was it good? I really couldn't tell. I had absolutely no idea what I was eating here. The texture, the sensation on the tongue, everything was new to me. The taste was extremely acidic, salty, and rich in animal protein. But that weird smell smothered most of it, forcing me to continuously convince myself that I was eating something good. I felt like my body would reject it all if I didn't. Holding the aversion at bay, I somehow swallowed it. The aftertaste was better than I expected, but as the reek faded, it made way for a strong, beastly smell. Yeah. In a way, this taste was an exciting form of entertainment by itself. His face! Oh my, you're such a good eater. I could get used to this. Yes, I understand what you mean. I didn't know what to make of it when I first came here, but now I sometimes even crave it. I wasn't lying. It did seem like a taste I could get used to. It was hard to honestly call it good, but at least it did feel nutritious. Hello, Bellhound. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for coming. Aw. Oh, dear. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. That is a long shift. Were there people missing, or what was going on? And, I mean... I don't know which parts you have seen, but we actually did find out who the wolves were. But everyone died, and then we were sent back to the very beginning. Hello, Xerox. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for coming. If the smell is that strong, maybe it helps the wolves or something. That's... There was a point in which Fusaishi did mention something about wondering why the wolves couldn't just track them by smell. So... I'm not sure, but it would be something to keep in mind. It doesn't seem like something that they, like, eat on a regular basis, maybe just for special occasions. But if it's that potent, it probably sticks around for a while. Yeah, a truly wondrous ending. As reciting a prayer, I repeatedly tried to convince myself of that as I emptied the bowl I was giving. Ugh. Thank you for the meal. You're welcome. So I'd finally eaten something from Yasumizu. Did that mean I was a true local now? Or a yomibito? Whatever. As long as I could go back to square one, I would explore all the options I had available. Oh, definitely. At least coming from Chiemi, she seems to believe that because she has always been eating the food here and a lot of it is sort of fed by the Saranaga, that she thinks that is why they all have this inability to leave Yasumizu for good. And now Fusaishi is testing those waters, which I'm a little worried about. Because considering the whole supernatural aspects that we're surrounded by, I feel like something like that might affect the soul. So even if we do go back, if there is some effect by the food, I feel like it might still stick with us. Rhythmic cutting sounds were reaching my ears. As Kaori-san began preparing food in the kitchen, I did the work assigned to me. I had to repair the numerous cracked and broken dishes they had here. Apparently, they couldn't afford anything new, so they opted to take what was thrown out in Kami Fujiyoshi and repair it into something usable. Was there no end to how pitiful things were here? The broken plates and cups were all wrapped in old newspaper, and all I had to do was unwrap them and put them back together. It was actually kind of fun. Sort of like a jigsaw puzzle, but man, there were a lot of them. I'd have to do this for entire boxes full of broken tableware. I did wonder whether they actually needed so much, but apparently they just barely had enough, so they wanted to have some spares. I used some all-purpose glue from a 100-yen shop. They'd brought it in from a nearby town. Kaori-san laughed about it, saying, "We get far more value out of this than a 100-yen bowl," and I just about cried. It was a strange mix of modern frugality and the poverty of ancient times, and it exemplified just how weird Yasumizu really was. As I work, I realized that many of the plates and cups had a familiar symbol on them. What kind of mark is this? I asked Kaori-san over the counter. Oh, that's the crest of the watering hole family. The Higuchi. I was about to mention the name, but then I realized that Kaori-san probably didn't have good memories of them. I'd heard that examining these crests helped understand the lineages and the like, but I had no knowledge necessary for this. Do the other head families have crests too? Yes, I like the Nosato one. It's cute. Cute? From what I recalled, the Nosato family was the crow. Did it have a bird on it or something? Uematsu was the spider, Nosato was the crow, Higuchi was the monkey, and Muguruma was the snake. They worshipped a mountain and these guardians. It was significant not only for Fujiyoshi's culture, but the feast of the Yomi Purge as well. If memory served, Jamie had told me last time that whether you had a guardian or not was relayed by a mark of blood on your skin. Waking up to find blood on your body was something straight out of a horror movie. Fusaishi... You know what? I'm not gonna say anything. Didn't the wolves in Haru-chan say it was done through dreams? If that was true, I'd be at a loss. It'd be an actual supernatural phenomenon. Still, we're wolves and humans informed differently. This was something I'd have to look into starting tomorrow. Where can I see the other crests? You can probably find the Nosatos in Nosato's mansion. But the others... Oh, the accessory on Uematsu-san's chest is based on her crest. That thing, huh? I had thought it was kind of weird looking. I'll try looking for them. I wouldn't want to disrespect them out of ignorance. You might be right. I'll tell you if I find something. Please do. I continued working as we talked. There was a small ancient TV here. Apparently you could get public broadcasting here, but not much else. It was probably enough for everyone to gather here and have dinner while watching something. I was told that all the dorm rooms had TVs too. That had to be another way they pampered the children who'd eventually leave this place. It strongly demonstrated how much of an exception the dorm was for Yasumizu. My eldest lives in the dorm and always tells me what's happening in yesterday's shows. We can only turn this on at night, you see. Normally, giving TVs to younger generations would be a sign of luxury, but it was the other way around here. The children went to the school in Kami Fujiyoshi, but they never went anywhere beyond that, and just went straight home, and Kami Fujiyoshi was secluded to begin with. That was why they prioritized giving TVs to children, to let them know what was happening outside the village, and to help them learn modern Japanese culture. Apparently, they also covered their electricity and gas bills. They had to be frugal, but they didn't mind supporting the children's access to TV. Chamie was the first Yasumizu child to make it to college, and Yasunaga-kun was expected to follow her footsteps. Basically, they thought if they supported the young ones and helped them become prominent figures in society, the money they'd send back would make it life easier for those who stayed here. I honestly hope Yasunaga is able to live freely, unhindered by his roots here. As you can see, my second son has some flaws, so I have to keep him close. But my eldest is, if you don't mind me bragging, simply excellent. My late husband was clever too, but had an intense nature, and it seems like those two qualities were split between my sons. I do feel guilty that I couldn't give birth to two clever boys. Sorry, Yoshitsugu. Birthing the second was so difficult that both of us almost died. Did he come out like that because I tried too hard at the time? Ah, you know, while I do not think this is right, I think, you know, you should love your children equally. This does explain why she does have that favoritism to Yoshitsugu. Because nearly losing both her and himself during that, yeah, that creates a specific bond. Kaori-san was pretty talkative about this. I knew it was a stranger and she had to introduce Yasumizu to me, but this was a bit too much if you asked me. That was probably a sign of just how helpless she felt right now. Maybe Takumi-san should just propose to her and lighten the Oribe's burden. Marrying a widow with sons in middle to high school was difficult, and I could only assume that was his main issue. I hope not. Feeling a bit conflicted, I glanced at the cheap alarm clock on the TV. It was 3 p.m. Any minute now. We're back. Huh?
Don't know this guy.
There. The high schoolers were back. Welcome back. This is Fusaishi-san. He suddenly moved here to Yasumizu. Let's get along. Now, this is unexpected. I'm Yasunaga Uribe. Kaori-san's son, right? She told me about you. What did you tell him exactly? Get along with my good-for-nothing son. Oh, man. Oh, this is Shikamochi Kamoshida, and that's Haru Makishima.
Call me Mochi, and give me your life.
Nope.
Hey, Mochi, what's that? Is he one of those cool guys? Scares me.
Yasun probably has a better face and personality than him.
Can we win against him?
Sure can. I challenge you to a duel. What?
Wait, I'm your opponent here.
Alright, let's go. Which one of us can go the longest without pissing?
You cur. You know I'm trying my hardest to hold it in.
I'm at my limit too, actually.
The one who pisses his pants first is the winner.
Alright. Oh, wait, no it isn't.
Ugh, just go already.
Oh dear. We both had to forfeit. You two sure get along.
The bond of pissmen.
We went from poop man to piss man. Yeah. Well, wait, no. Again, this is Haru-chan.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, you have a unique fashion sense.
Got a problem with it? I got it all at 100 yen shopping Hachihara at the end of last year.
I was just sad. It was something I'd expect from an elementary schooler. No, it's good. Again, let's get along.
D-chan, he's trying to flirt with me. I'm scared.
I really don't think he is. Man, Haru-chan was distrustful of me even without the misunderstandings regarding Chiemi and I. Perhaps there really were people you just couldn't get along with. How sad. I mean, we did start to make a bond with her near the end. Though... I don't know. Considering everything... about how she... it's so hard to gauge her actions. Because she genuinely seemed, you know, incredibly sad about Mochi and incredibly grateful when we showed the consideration and, you know, trying to respect his memory. But how sincere was that? It seemed sincere to me, and at the time she didn't know who was and wasn't a wolf. So she might have been like holding on to the hope that, or I don't know. It's so hard to gauge her. Oh, you fixed so many bowls and cups. We were supposed to do that. Sorry to trouble you with it. It's fine. I had fun, and there's still plenty left. Yasunaga, leave him be and go review your lessons. Oh, right. I'm going to the dorm then.
Let's have our duel another time, Pissman. Then I'll be going now.
The high schoolers left. Have you met everyone here in Yasumizu by this point? I guess so. There was one exception, though. Oh, sorry, that was a bit of a rude response. 1, 2, 3... Journalists including, I met 14. Huh? 1, 2... Oh, but if we don't include you, there should be 15. Suddenly, as if rehearsed, the final person appeared. Hey, buddy, missed you! Ah, perfect timing. This is the old man of Yasumizu. No one knew his name, did they? Hello. Like always, it was hard to tell whether he was listening or not. I'll be living here from now on. Pleasure to meet you.
Coming.
There it was. His shtick. Huh? What? He beckoned me closer. I carefully brought my ear to his mouth.
Eva!
Sway back!
The wolf is coming.
Whoa, you surprised me! I evaded the potential damage to my eardrums. I had no idea what he was thinking, but he was grinning. I'm hungry. Please wait. I'll make you an onigiri. This might have actually been the first time I saw him properly communicate with someone. Once given the onigiri, he quickly munched it all up, leaving a big mess, and just staggered out. According to Kaori-san, he always been a part of the whole Yasumizu package. He seemed to have something wrong with his head, and tended to cause trouble here. Always a part, eh? Would it be wrong to assume he experienced something that made him go insane? At the very least, his catchphrase about wolves coming gave me that impression. He experienced the feast once, and the fear made the boy who cried wolf become the old man who cried wolf. Perhaps he'd even seen that thing. I'd love to hear what he had to say, but that seemed difficult. Is that everyone? Seems so. I was glad to have heard so much from Kaori-san, but I would have liked to talk to the young ones more. Chiemi too. Was it possible for me to forge a proper relationship with her starting tomorrow? Let's rest until 6 p.m. With you here, everything was taken care of so quickly. You're a great help. Oh, it was nothing. After helping with the dinner preparation, I was mostly done for the day, so I was free to take a breather. It was almost 6 p.m. I hadn't been keeping track of time on the previous loop, but the miss had to appear soon. Needless to say, I was slightly tense. Not having anything better to do, I went outside. I looked up at the sky. The sun bathed everything in a red hue. This was probably the last time I'd see the mountain in the distance. No, this time I would survive until the mist cleared. Then I would look at this with the one dear to me and leave this place for good. As I gathered my resolve,
8. The donut bologna rice snows on the mountain.
I suddenly heard an off-key singing voice. It completely deflated the tension of the scene. Oh. I could see Meiko running through the plaza. She'd clearly noticed me. Uematsu-san was right behind her.
Usayuki-san!
That wasn't my name. I'm Haruaki. Ah, Usaishi-san. You worked hard, I presume. I'm still shining of energy. How reliable. I'm going to look at the field downhill before dinner time comes. Ah, just like last time, huh? I'd been busy fixing my bike here, so I hadn't even noticed them go down. There's a field downhill. Oops. Yes, though, it is more of a graveyard. Grave? Is there anything significant? Oh, that aside, your clothes are a bit Buddhist, aren't they? Are you giving a memorial service or something? Yes. The Uematsu were also responsible for funeral rites. Our faith might have some roots in Buddhism as a result of that duty. So Mamiya-san was right. Hello, Scoot. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for coming. Bedroom woman servants, was it? Perhaps they protected not only dreams, but also eternal sleep, the peace of the dead. Though, as our blood became less pure, we became unable to fulfill these duties, so we left them to the Miguruma. Despite that, after moving here to Yasumizu, you owed services for the local graves, huh? That is my intention, yes. But this time... What? I have become a bit... worried. She looked toward the direction of the Saranaga again. Perhaps she could feel the coming of the mist with her skin. I heard that sensitive people could sense incoming weather changes by differences in pressure and humidity alone. Will something happen? No, I think it is probably merely my imagination. Uematsu-san leaned on the pillar supporting the well's roof. Apparently, she decided against going to the field. Realizing this, Meiko started playing around. It's sure a bundle of energy, huh? Indeed. Everyone was afraid of her because she came from Saranaga. But she turned out to be an energetic child. Truly a relief. I wonder what happened to her. Perhaps she was doing her hardest to run away and force suicide in the mountains. That seemed unlikely. Takumi-san had mentioned last time that lots of suicidal people gathered here. But why did he... I was about to ask why she was the one to take care of her, but then I remembered something. She took in the corruption. That was one of the roles she was expected to fulfill. It felt wrong to me, but I didn't know what I actually had a problem with. Meiko's parents? The locals who treated her like filth. Or perhaps the customs and superstitions that caused it.
9. One whole birthday cow to find. 10. The kissed mice sway again.
That's a unique song. I heard it during a broadcast in Kami Fujiyoshi. I'd actually heard it here in the last loop, but whatever. It's an old song about the teachings of great Lord Shinaisama, the incarnation of this mountain that keeps us alive. Shinai-san's guardians are Blood, Snake, 2, Monkey, 3, Crow, 4, Spider. She began singing out of nowhere. Five, prepare the feast when the evening mists arrive. 6, the badger runs along late, ne'er as a fix. Her clear voice vanished into the wind passing this empty plaza. However, I could hear it very well. 7, the corrupt Yomibito rise to oppose the mountain. The tone of the song suddenly changed. 8, death of the damned Yomibito is the mandate. Her singing now brought out feelings of unease. 9, one soul per day now to bind. Okay. 10, the mist rise away again. An ice-cold voice cut her off. I looked at the source, and a chill went down my spine. It was Jamie covered in the red of the evening, as well as the red of blood. Her whole body was covered in blood. You are working hard, I see. Oh, I was. Huh? Serizawa-san, what happened? Oh, sorry. I guess making such a dramatic entrance while looking like this is a bit scary, huh? She gave me a broad grin. I believe she had to dismantle wild game. Yep, Kanzochi-chan got a big one this morning. The muscles and bones on this thing were huge. Oh yeah, Takumi-san had told her to help Kanzo-san. Whoa, you know how to butcher wild game? It's easy when you get used to it. Your clothes are a mess now, though. You sure that's not a problem? I didn't mean for this to happen. My hand slipped a bit. Well, I have another set of these clothes, so it ain't a problem. She laughed, and it made her look even scarier. You can just call me Chamie, by the way. Drop the fancy talk, too. Huh? Was that Rikako-san? No. It clearly was. Alright, Chamie-chan. You can just call me Haruaki, too. Talk to me like I'm a friend. Oh, really? Alright, Haruaki-san. Wanna get to know each other over some food? Oh. Aww. By the way, are we getting some of that game meat for dinner? Of course! We're in for some good eating. Woohoo! Isn't that great, Uematsu-san? What? Please call me Rikako. Rikako-san? What kind of response was that? What is it, Haruhara? Haruaki-sama? She was about to call me by some weird name, but she somehow managed to actually get my real one right. Problem being that she called out to me, but didn't actually have anything to say. Oh boy. Oh, and what's your problem, Chamie-san? Haruaki-san, wanna come watch me butcher game? You'll get to see me cut some meat with a huge hunting knife. Splush, splash! Whoa. That kind of invitation would have weirded out anyone normal, but me? I was actually intrigued. Haruaki-sama. Yes? Shall we go there? Where? The graveyard. An invitation even freakier than the previous one. It felt like she'd taken me straight to the land of the dead, though that was interesting in its own way. Huh? And what exactly are you gonna do there, Rikako-san? What an expression. What of you, Serizawa-sama? Are you aware how absurd it is to show him a feast of blood? Even if it is for Yasumizu, blood is linked to the corruption. Rikako-san, you do know that lewdness is also dirty, right? Whatever are you imagining? I was not thinking anything of the sort. Really? You seem like a real closet pervert to me. Don't worry, all men love lewd women. But, okay. Too bad though, I have even more lewd power than you. What? No fair. What the hell is this conversation? Yes, thank you, Haruaki. What the hell are you two talking about?
Usayuki-san, are you popular?
What? Mako, whatever to you.
Oh, you're out of the race. Guess I'll have him then.
You will? That's too good to be true.
You're my type. If you're gonna live here, then I guess I'll have something to look forward to when coming back home.
So, I had a chance of cheering this route too, huh? Oh, then I shall have many chances while you are away.
What? Not happening.
And with Rikako-san too. Mako-chan, let's have a race.
Yay!
I ran around with her like I was a kid her own age again. That was weird. As much as I enjoyed having a catfight over me, I knew that we were almost out of time. Just as things are about to start. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to end things right there. There'll be lots to think about. It feels like there was a lot here that was sprinkling little hints. But let's see. Tomorrow at 8 PM EST, it's going to be Tales of Fantasia, and it's going to be the finale of that. Resident Evil 7 is going to be on hiatus for a little bit, so nothing on Wednesday. It's Thursday over on the Discord at 9 PM EST. It's going to be the Star Trek watch-along. Nothing on Friday, and then on Saturday over on Twitch, I'm going to be doing my birthday stream. And that will be starting at 10 AM. We'll be doing Gartic Phone, so that is something that, you know, folks in the audience will be able to join if you would like. I am not an artist, so don't feel like you can't join if you don't consider yourself an artist either. After that, it will be Ragic Loop. So if you can't go over to the Twitch, don't worry, I will upload the portion that we do there onto YouTube, and hopefully I will be joined by some friends, so I will be able to go a little longer without my voice giving out. After that, it will be We Know the Devil, and then some Final Fantasy XIV. Yeah. We'll have to see how that goes. But with that, thank you all so very much for coming by. I hope you have a wonderful time zone wherever you are, and as always, please do take care of yourselves and each other. Toodaloo!